studio alive, I got something special for you. Eastern Oregon's very own cook show. That's right, we're gonna have a cook show in Eastern Oregon. I'm joined by Chef Russ Gleason in Marketplace Fresh Foods, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a recipe from Russ's golden little recipe book, and we're gonna walk through all the steps that it will take for you to make that recipe right in your own home. Russ, how are you?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm excellent. What are we making?
Today we're making something special. I got to dig real down deep into my cookbook, and this is not your mama's meatballs recipe. It's not your mama's. It's my mama's.
So it's an actual your mom's recipe.
It's my mom's recipe.
What culture does it come from? Like, what type of food is it?
Italian food, man. My mother's Italian. My father's Irish. That's how you get the Gleason. And that's it.
Awesome. So, I mean, I guess we just get right into it.
Get right into it.
Where are we going to start?
All right. To make good meatballs, you have to have a good sauce. So we're going to start with the sauce first because that takes the longest to do.
The sauce. Where do we start?
The sauce. You take a pot, any kind of sauce pot you got in the house, put it on an open burner. What you got to do is you got to cook the onions first. So what I got here is some olive oil, about 2.5 ounces of olive oil. We start getting that working, a little hot.
Any kind of olive oil, Russ?
Any kind of olive oil.
Extra virgin?
Pumice oil or extra virgin,
Okay.
either one.
Nice.
Now you got we call them translucent onions, which means we put them in there and we saute them up until they become real clear, like translucent. It's like the culinary term that we use. When we get this going, the onions are going. So what else you need in a good sauce? You need garlic, fresh garlic.
Lots of garlic.
About 3 ounces of garlic.
Love it.
That goes in there.
Love it.
Give it a little stir. Get those onions going and the garlic going.
So now that the onions are translucent and the garlic's ready,
Onions are
what
translucent.
goes next?
The garlic is ready. Tomatoes, about 2 cans of whole peeled tomatoes with the juice. That goes in a pot.
Any particular brand of tomatoes?
I like Cento tomatoes, or like, but you can use anything you want. We have them on the shelf here.
Is that number 10 can or what?
No, this is a smaller can.
Smaller can?
Yeah, number 5 can.
Number 5 can?
Yep. And then we get this going here. So you stir your tomatoes, your onions. A little salt and pepper. Gotta get a little flavor. 1 ounce of kosher salt.
Bang.
Half an ounce of black pepper.
It's beautiful.
A little Italian seasoning, about a half ounce of Italian seasoning. It's dried rosemary, dried thyme. That goes in. And we give it a little quick stir. Incorporate all that stuff in there. Get that going. Then we add our parsley. About 3 ounces of parsley. And I put butter in it to cut the acid from the tomatoes.
So about special ingredient.
That's it. Everything tastes good with butter.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Nope.
It's like bacon.
That's it. Bacon and butter. And then we incorporate all of this together till it's hot. And we cook this down and reduce it for about an hour, I would say.
About an hour?
Yep. Then what I like to do is, because I like to make it smooth, I take a little a little bird mixer stick. And I get that in there. And we go around. And we just blend all the tomatoes and the garlic and the butter and everything together. Like this here. For about an hour. Like I said, cook it for like an hour. And then we'll put this to the side right now. And then we get the finished sauce. An hour later, we get this. This is the blended, it's not blended smooth. I still got little chunks in there of stuff. And at the end, we just hit it with some, lastly, some fresh chiffonade basil.
So total cooking time.
Total
Russ,
cooking
where are we at
time,
here?
1 hour.
1 hour.
Yep.
And we're looking semi-smooth.
Semi-smooth.
Got a nice color.
Right, got a nice color. Got the chunks, the butter's all in there, the basil, the tomatoes, the garlic, the onions. And that's our base. This is our base for the meatballs.
Base for the meatballs. So, Russ, when you're making this sauce, is this a sauce that you can use for other things as well?
You can use this for chicken, Parmesan. You can use it for pastas. I like making pastas with my meatballs. Spaghetti, linguine, penne, whatever you got at the house. Yeah, no, this is all purpose. So this is what they call mother sauce in culinary. This is one of the mother sauces. From this sauce, you can make 20 other sauces. So
This is like, when you say mother, it's like kind of like bread, you know, like you have
Exactly.
the mother, the original recipe where pieces come off and you can make other things out of it.
exactly. That's
That's
why they
awesome.
call it the mother sauce. There's 5 mother sauces altogether.
Yeah,
But
what are they?
We'll get into that later on. But it's a chicken. It's a chicken stock. It's a veal. It's a tomato. It's a hollandaise, which is like an egg base, and a mayonnaise. And with
Very
those
nice.
5 mother sauces, you can make 500 sauces. All depends on your style and your ethnicity and all of that.
So Russ, how did you end up in Eastern Oregon?
Eastern Oregon. During the
He
pandemic.
says Oregon.
See, I'm from-
He's
I'm from New
definitely
York.
not an Oregonian.
Oregon. It's an A, not an E. Okay. Oh, I ended up here during the pandemic. I got a chance to come out here and take a look around. I met Marco, who owns the place. I met Al, who owns the building. And we just hit it off together, you know. And so I came back and forth a few times, and finally I just said, "The hell with it." I was tired of the rat race. I was tired of the corporate world, the casino, and I just said, "Let's do it." So
Ended up right here in Eastern Oregon.
Yeah,
How'd you
ended
get
up
into cooking? Where's that love come from?
my mother, my grandmother. I grew up making cavadillas, homemade cavadillas, when I was 6 years old. You know, spreading them out on my mother's bed with flour so they dry. So she taught me basically everything when I was younger. And then my uncle decides to buy. He was a vacuum repair salesman. So he decides to buy a pizzeria restaurant one day. We were about 15 years old. So me and my cousins got in there, and that's how I really started, like, in the restaurant business itself. And it just snowballed from there. Then I moved from New York to Las Vegas, Nevada, and went to culinary school there. And just honed my craft, and here we are 30 years later.
Making
Yep.
the mother sauce.
Making
One
the
of
mother
the
sauces.
mother sauces.
That's right.
So, next. What's
Next.
next?
Is the big one, the meatballs, the not your mama's meatballs.
The star of the show.
That's it. And we'll
Let's
get
do
there.
it.
Okay.
Next up, the star of the show. Not your mama's, but Russ's mama's
mama's.
meatballs.
That's right. Now to make a good meatball, you need some good ground beef. This is like an Angus Ground chuck, 1 pound. Then we have a ground pork. So you gotta have that pork flavor in the meatballs too. So it's 2 to 1. So it's 1 pound of or 16 ounces of ground beef and 8 ounces of ground pork.
Recommendation on fat content here.
80%, 80-20.
80-20?
Yep.
Beautiful.
And this is where you get your fat in here too, in the pork also. That's
Yeah.
what gives it the flavor. So we start out by adding the meat in the bowl. So we put the ground beef in there.
Put the
ground-
meat
the
in
ground-
the bowl.
The ground pork in that bowl. 2 whole eggs.
Those probably cost about $8 a piece right now.
You're right.
You know, I think your mom's meatballs are going to get spendy.
Diced onions. Gotta have garlic in your meatballs.
Of course. Lots of it, too.
That's it. Again, a little parsley. Get that color.
So when we're putting this in, about how much garlic was that?
That was like 2 ounces. This is like a 3-ounce cup. So, and this is a 2-ounce cup. So I'd say it was about 2.5 ounces of garlic, 2.5 ounces of onion, about 1.5 ounces of parsley. Then I got Parmesan cheese also. This is a 3-ounce
Ooh.
Parmesan cheese, so that goes in there.
And that's not grated Parmesan cheese. That's
That's it's called grated. It's not shredded. It's
it's
grated.
not shredded. It's grated.
Pepper. Kosher salt.
That looks like about 2 teaspoons of
Yeah,
each.
2 teaspoons
roughly.
of each. Exactly. Panko breadcrumb, which is about I'd say it's about 3 ounces of breadcrumb.
Panko breadcrumb.
Panko breadcrumb, exactly. Now here's the trick.
What's the trick?
Milk
Milk.
in a bowl.
Never heard of milking a meatball.
Bread. This is just sliced white bread. You can use wheat bread. You can use, I wouldn't use like a dark bread, but a light bread. And we soak them in the milk. And we get this bread nice and soft with the milk. Just keep mixing it around until you'll feel it gets all soft. And now you squeeze it a little bit, just to squeeze that milk out of you. And this like helps the meatballs, it like gives body, it makes them lighter. And also it's a binding also too.
So along with the eggs, the
I just put-
bread is part of the binding agent.
Exactly. And then just put a little milk in there. Now you stir it up. Just mix it all in.
Get in there with it, huh?
Yeah, you gotta get in there, put some gloves on. And just get in there. And mix it all up. Squeeze it. Gotta get a good mix on it.
So with the meatballs here, when we get there, are we going to be frying them or baking them?
I fry them first, just to get a little color on them, and I put them in the oven to finish them.
Gotcha. Very nice. That's coming together real nice.
Yep.
So the consistency of the meat needs to be what? When
It shouldn't
you
be. It
have
shouldn't
all
be.
the ingredients.
Well, you know, it can't be too wet because they won't form, and it can't be too dry because it'll dry out your meatballs, and it'll be just like eating, you know, a bouncing ball.
Like one of those ones from when you were a kid.
That's right. Anything you got to adjust to, you might need a little bit more breadcrumb, just to tighten it up a little bit more. But that's about it right there. So then I would just make a meatball out of it. And you just got to work it.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
You just got to work it till it forms to a nice little ball.
Look at that. Whoa.
And see how so it's not too dry and it's not too wet. And then what I do is I just get some regular oil. It's not olive oil. It's just a vegetable oil,
Cooking oil.
or a canola oil, or cooking oil. And I get the frying pan. Just put a little oil in there.
And that pan's already hot. It's
already
ready to rock and roll.
So semi-hot, preheated. Just make sure it's good and hot before I put that meatball on there.
Meatballs going in.
Meatballs going in.
Oh, listen to that. Nice little sizzle
You just
going.
gotta go. You'll see. Just move it around so it don't stick. And you just want to brown it.
All right, so once we have a nice crust, on the meatball.
I like to drain the oil out.
Yep.
And then I'll just pop this whole thing in the oven for about 15 minutes.
15 minutes in the oven.
350 degrees. And that's it.
And then it comes out and we're ready to rock.
And then it
with
comes out and we're ready to rock. Okay, the meatballs just came out of the oven. Looking good,
Oh,
smelling
man, They look so
good.
good.
They taste even better. Now what I like to do is, these are just cooked meatballs. I like to get a little flavor now in this toss also, and the meatball. So what I do is I take the cooked meatballs and I throw them in the tomato sauce for another half an hour, just so it gets a little color, it soaks up a little of the sauce. The meat gets a little moist. And then you got a finished product right here. When it comes out, this is the meatball. I put these on the
Oh,
plate.
that looks good. Wow. Oh, you should smell the smell in here right now. Just the aromas coming off this pot. Wow. That's
Nice.
top
Nice
notch.
giant meatballs.
Top notch.
And I top it off with a little,
Wow.
some more tomato sauce. Got to get them good. And then at the house, I would put like some spaghetti right there in the middle. Little spaghetti meatball action. Then what I like to do is I like to take a little ricotta cheese, and I like to top it off on top of the meatball, like this here.
Oh,
Just a little dab, you don't need too much. And then I got some shredded Parmesan cheese right here, and I like to put that on there also. And to finish it off, chiffonade basil.
dang.
There you have it.
Wow.
Not your mama's meatballs.
That is absolutely beautiful. Bennett, look at this. I mean, get a close-up of that. That is so beautiful. I mean, I guess there's really only one thing left for me to do.
It's all yours.
Get a fork.
Get a fork. Here you go.
Oh, I'm excited about this. So I'm going to try to get a little bit of everything in the bite here. We got some of the basil, some of the cheese, some of the meatball, some of the sauce. Take a look at that, Benny.
Looking good. What do you think?
The texture of that meatball is out of this world. It's soft. I'm going to use a Johnny Ballgame quote for you here. It's like little angels of flavor dancing on my tongue. It is absolutely amazing, Russ. Wow. Wow. Man, this has got to be the best job in the world. I get to stand here and look silly and eat, world-class food. How do you beat it? Russ, let's dive in real quick to What's next?
What's next?
The next show. What are we gonna make?
The next show is going to be a new dish that we're going to feature here in the store. It's called the chicken involtini. I call it a chicken involtini. And what that basically is it's a pounded out chicken breast, about 8-ounce chicken breast. I butterfly them open. I pound them out real thin. I layer it with some Parma ham, some sliced ham, mozzarella cheese, and then I take asparagus, about 6 sprigs of asparagus, blanch them, real boiling hot salty water, ice bath it, so the asparagus is like shiny green, man. It just brings out that whole color. And then I wrap it up, and then we sear it off. And then I make like a brandy mushroom cream sauce that goes over the top.
Oh.
So that's next up.
Wow.
But right now, we got to eat.
So, as Russ was saying, tune in next time, and you're gonna get a whole nother recipe.
Yep.
What we'll do is we'll put this recipe up in the comments as well, so you guys can make this at home. And
if you don't want to make it at home, guess what? Just come on down and get it.
come right down here.
Yep.
And they have the ingredients, and they have the meatballs done already. So
I wouldn't blame you.
Russ, I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
This is awesome, and I look forward to next time.
Me too.